Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts, the NFC's future. The landscape of the entire NFC is changing right in front of our very eyes. A passing of the torch is already underway as longtime NFC stalwarts Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, and Matt Ryan are all gone. The NFC quarterback landscape now features aging veterans and a couple of young guns ready to take the league by storm. How much do Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Matt Stafford have left in the tank? Every day it seems more and more likely that we could see an NFC without Brady or Rodgers as soon as 2023. The NFC's hierarchy is to be determined, but I expect a few teams to be battling for supremacy over the next decade or more. We already have plenty of candidates in the AFC as Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, and more lead a new era of quarterback play. The NFC landscape is drastically different. The 49ers offer the biggest question mark as a team that has possibly the most talented roster in the entire league outside of the quarterback position and mortgage their future for Trey Lance. Meanwhile, Jimmy G and Brock Purdy have both played much better, and Lance is out with a significant injury. For the rest of the NFC, we can't expect Rodgers, Brady, and Stafford to play forever, so who's next? I don't foresee Kirk Cousins being a legitimate threat too much longer. Kyler Murray has a ton of potential, but things are a mess in Arizona right now. Dak Prescott might be the next man up. He definitely has to be in consideration at least, and the Cowboys' playoff run this year will go a long way in determining where Dak stands, but I believe this weekend we could be watching a preview of the NFC's two best quarterbacks for the next 10 to 15 years. Hold your horses. I'm not saying they're better than Brady or Rodgers right now, but if I had to put my chips down and pick two quarterbacks in the NFC for the next decade or longer, hands down, my top two are Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts. Both are very gifted young passers who also have the ability to dominate teams on the ground with their legs. Both guys have also had similar starts to their careers. Both transferred out of their original college. Both have been labeled as busts by overreacting media members early in their careers. Both have been called running backs instead of quarterbacks by out-of-touch reporters. The biggest thing is, though, that both guys have the potential to take over games and give defensive coordinators nightmares. Now, I have to mention the Eagles team is currently much more talented than Chicago's roster overall. They are ahead in the process. But this weekend, we get a chance to watch these two quarterbacks battle it out head to head. Two immensely gifted, young, athletic quarterbacks, both with superstar potential. Let's take a look at a couple of the stat comparisons between Justin and Jalen. If you compare Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts' numbers after 25 career games, you see a ton of similarities. Completion percentage, yards per attempt, rushing success, and more. Both players showed a ton of potential early on, but struggled to find consistency. Justin Fields has been more dynamic than Hurts through 25 games, scoring more touchdowns and putting up more passing and rushing yardage than Hurts did. Fields did this with an offensive line that is much less talented than Philly's. However, Fields also turned the ball over more and took a lot more sacks. Jalen Hurts was sacked just 38 times through 25 games, while Justin Fields has taken a whopping 76 sacks. Even with the lack of pass protection, Fields still had more big-time plays and showed elite playmaking ability. Through 25 games, Fields has 30 total touchdowns and 20 interceptions. In that same time, Jalen Hurts had 25 touchdowns, but only 8 interceptions. He had less big-time plays, but took care of the ball much better than Fields has. If you look beyond the stats, you see a lot of this had to do with the Eagles' dominating offensive line and ability to protect Jalen Hurts, though. Also, you have to take into account Fields has played with 2 different offensive coordinators in 2 years, and his first year was spent with Matt Nagy. Moving on, you could then compare their per-game stats, which are also eerily similar. And even just looking at career stats, you see a ton of similarities between the two. What you see when you take the blinders off is 2 of the best young quarterback prospects in the entire league, and 2 guys who should be taking the NFC by storm over the next decade or longer. Jalen Hurts' rise to elite has taken a big step this year because the Eagles have added a ton of talent around him. I look for the Bears to do the same thing in the offseason. The Bears and Eagles currently sit at the opposite ends of the NFC's power struggle, with Philadelphia gearing up for the number 1 seed in the playoffs and a potential Super Bowl run. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears sit at the bottom of the NFC standings, staring at a potential top 5 pick. From an outside standpoint, it seems like these 2 teams may have nothing in common, but that is where I would disagree. The Bears also have Eagles' former top scout, Ian Cunningham, helping Ryan Poles right the ship in Chicago. The hardest thing to find for any potential NFL franchise is a special talent at quarterback. The Chicago Bears have that, just like the Eagles realized over a year ago. The Philadelphia Eagles even went through a tanking debacle themselves recently. Doug Peterson benched Jalen Hurts late in the year that ended up leading to his firing. It was presumably to get better draft position in the next draft. Other than that, the Bears should be following the Eagles' blueprint and spend this offseason surrounding Justin Fields with talent, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but also on the defensive side of the ball. The Eagles have one of the best defenses in the entire league and are a team that invested in the trenches. Offensive line and defensive line are among the best in the league. I expect Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham to make similar strides in Chicago this offseason, potentially setting this Bears team up to battle with teams like Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles for the next decade or longer. The Chicago Bears do not have the roster talent overall that the Eagles do, but they have found their quarterback and are on a similar trajectory as the Eagles as long as Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham can take advantage of the draft capital and cap space they have available to them this offseason. They have an opportunity to dramatically close the gap in talent between the two. This Sunday, we get to see Justin Fields versus Jalen Hurts for the very first time. All I know is there will be fireworks, and fans should get your popcorn ready for this one. I can't wait. Please remember to hit that like button for me. And until next time, bear down.
Who got that breakdown? Who got that actual video breakdown? Swift Sports, that's who. Knowledge Untamed, TDU, game time. Welcome to the Swift Sports Show, turn it up. Super Bowl Shuffle, don't forget to like and sub. Them other channels drinking, man, they need to sober up. This here is bear down, yeah, we going for the dub.